Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is with regard to the E-rate program, bringing internet connectivity to library systems, school systems, offering broadband access is extremely valuable for individuals that may not be able to find a way to access internet, especially if for an educational need, an educational requirement. There are caveats of which the article mentions to a degree with regard to, for example, hotspots. Being able to navigate how to complete an assignment that may be online and may not be possible to complete during a school day due to a different programming that may take one out of a school. A hotspot may prove extremely beneficial for an individual. So the navigating may be a lot easier for one that may be able to access what may be necessary internet-wise, apart from a school environment, an educational environment, assessing geographically. Now, one may observe a hotspot differently if one is able to access a hotspot from one's local networking through a Wi-Fi system, which may bring about a different area to regard from a professional standpoint concerning if a domestic environment, a home environment, is receiving free internet that may not have to do with an educational purpose. Now, one may argue if a local library has internet available, then the local library may fulfill a need. If an educational environment opens an after-school program extending well into the evening, then individuals may be able to approach accessing broadband internet to a different capacity than if having to be away from the educational environment. When regarding what may be practical in connection with the schedule, one may consider how, due to access situations, an educational environment may reprogram schedules for individuals that may be out of an educational environment for a different programming, so as to complete work on a different timeline with regard to a timeline in connection with broadband internet. How educational environments may expand the networking of creating broadband spaces between other educational environments may be valuable to consider with long-term progressions, consolidating like progressions that may address how educational environments may be supportive of each other through more integrating dimensions, especially with regard to higher education, making space for high school, middle school, elementary school students. Now, the E-rate program is bringing about benefit, so individuals may regard how what the FCC may be observing may differentiate with appropriate business attentions. With so many dynamics to consider technologically, business-wise, governmental-wise, educationally, considering intra-networks of education, one may find the possibilities of access to be available in different ways that may prove to be more efficient. Now, one area of the discussion in which the article does not completely engage in is with regard to how the dispersing of broadband is operating with regard to efficiency of servicing. What might the FCC review of servicing parameters? What information is available for individuals to regard? What else might be possible with examining dimensions of servicing broadband internet? When one considers how a hotspot might be available through one's phone, one may be familiar with having limits with a hotspot which offer a certain amount of servicing, a certain amount of data before rates lessen. Might the FCC be assessing the efficiency of servicing in general differently with regard to the potential benefits of educational progressions? How might the FCC observe education? Of what criteria? Is the FCC going to observe a record of educational outcomes to determine what might be sound with better supporting educational progress, educational development? When supportive programs are to be in review, there are many ways to address how might be a beneficial way to review. What might be a beneficial approach to better comprehending the direction of collaboration? Our next topic is with regard to how education, particularly early childhood education, is showing data reflecting that there are not many male early childhood educators, that there are ways to approach supporting early childhood educators that are male with future regards, so individuals may enter the workforce opting to be early childhood educators. The article is engaging these dynamics that are present, though connect with broader dynamics of employment. When considering monetary functions, the conversation is not only of a gender conversation. The conversation is for anyone that is seeking to be in early childhood education, regardless of being gender specific. So there are areas of finance that may receive more appropriate attention in education. Now, with regard to an educational environment in general, the article does not necessarily engage with how an educational environment may not have early childhood educators, though may have males present within the educational environment, albeit the males are not early childhood educators. One may argue these males are in a position to teach, though not of a programmatic in class sense, though of a more periodical sense, session by session, when necessary. How might a review of what an educational environment at large entails with regard to gender, when considering how males might be present, though not in class programmatically? How does such relating affect how individuals might comprehend what an educational environment entails? There may be many reasons why early childhood educators are predominantly female that might not be so apparent, that might be apparent depending on circumstances. I think what is most important is ensuring individuals opting for the pathway are receiving optimal support, regardless of gender, so as to bring about better developments, to feel more support, practically to be able to collaborate and contribute in ways that are supportive and lasting. The choice of a career pathway may not only fall on the decision making of an individual, though of an institution. There are many areas to assess with regard to comprehending the dynamics that may concern choice and hiring dynamics, which may offer more information to better comprehend pictures, though may not fully offer a complete answer due to how circumstantially one may observe differently each educational environment, which may involve observing geographical details, which may regard observing details that extend beyond the immediate spaces of an educational environment, even if it's most immediate surroundings. All right, it's time for some origami. I have here a square sheet of origami paper. I'm going to fold point to point on one side, and then I'm just going to pop the middle here, pop, and fold edge to edge the other side. It's important to open the fold again to make this fold very easy. The next fold that's going to happen here is going to be bringing us to have two triangles on both sides. If one folds the other way, so it means just a pop through the middle, it will just fold very easily, as you may see, to bring one to have two diamonds on each side. So from here, you may take the top portion, the point, just fold it to the edge. Okay. After folding it to the edge, you can just open up this portion here, the center portion. Bring the fingers in and press the center. To enter into this form. From this space here, just going to lift up this panel here, but keep this top portion down. So lift up, it's coming in, it's going to form into a triangle. to match the top, and then we're just gonna fold the rest in to make somewhat of a little rectangle with a little triangle on top. Same for the other side. Just bring this flap up, check this angle here, and from here, I'm just going to bend and bring the flap down. I'm going to do the same for this top portion. Now, after you fold this triangle in, you're gonna have to bring those two down. Next, same idea on the other side, different angle here. Fold it in and bring this flap down. On this side, fold it in, bring the flap down. All right. After this portion, what you're gonna do is just gonna go to the other side, and we're gonna actually take this portion, that similar fold, I'll show it this way. Just take this portion actually here and just press it in. Press it in here. Okay. And we'll have our diamond shape coming together. Now, what we do also next is from here, we're gonna take our front portion at the top here, and we're going to bend it in. And that's actually what we're going to do with this other side. So let's return to that initial portion here. We're here. We're actually just going to bend the center portions in. Okay. And you can pick whichever side makes the most sense. So we're going to bend those corners in. And then we're going to just open up the flaps similarly. I'm getting very, very close to making the diamond again. And so what we really want to have happen here is we want to have the form fold in to match. So what I'm going to do is take a quick glance here. Aha. And what needs to happen, what I'm looking at is, from the other side, the fold does not have to go all the way down. It has to go halfway down. This way, we'll be able to get just enough of what we really need for this fold to be effective. So we're on the other side with the arrow down. Now we have our fold halfway instead of all the way down. And we're just gonna press in. And this is that fold that is similar to a prior fold that we make, okay? And we're just gonna press in here. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold in the corners. Inside, then fold this corner down. Next, we're actually gonna just bring up that flap from prior in the back here. And we're going to fold in the corner, then bring this flap down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make these portions here a bit flat. Okay. So what we do here is we're just going to take forming. Now these are really, really strong bows. Now there's a point here that I want to touch on. If I look into this design here, I'll notice that there is a very important step that we can add to make this more 3D. That step does involve making the back portion flex out. So instead of folding it in and leaving it, folding the back and bringing it to come up. The situation here is this entire fold is front focusing. So if I do that, that means that this whole portion, wait a minute, let's see if I'm going to be accurate here, is likely going to change, but it might be inaccurate. And there you go. Very, very simple. So the front portion does change, but to the benefit of the design, I'm just adding in these legs. And there you have it. Now we have our popping out bowish heart. The heart bow. A lot of layers. I like it. And of course, with the practice of origami, one may continue to improve. I champion reading physical books. When an individual reads a physical book, there are a lot of health benefits, one of which is one's brain basically develops as one is reading a physical book. This connects with the science of spatial development. My body, Emily Ratajkowski, discusses her personal and professional life, engaging with her experiences with her bodily autonomy, with how the professional realms of which she traverses, particularly as a model, if one will, an entertainer, if one will, embraces her particularly, and how others might go through similarly. How the dynamics of her pursuing, establishing her career involve a lot of contentious situations that bring her into many areas of professionalism that invade her personal life, though are engaging with how she may grow as an individual with her assets, her skill sets, her bodily autonomy as a professional, though as one observing life so as to be successful. And the text engages her relationships, engages what perceptions involve her image, her mind, her emotional state, and how the view, as subjective as the view might be, is not always one of which she finds herself to be able to control, though she finds control in how she navigates her life and through her decision-making processes with great consideration of her bodily autonomy, of her assets, of her skill sets. The Text is a memoir, though quite detailing of what might be commonplace for individuals that may be of a similar pathway, of a similar trajectory. And the text acknowledges that there are many dimensions to observing one's professional direction, especially when of a similar pathway of which Emily Ratajkowski is engaging. I find the text interesting to read, and I think the perspectives of the text are worth navigating from other directions as well as from observing, from the observer observing externally, though observing reflexively of oneself. How might one address the dynamics of situations, and what does one do when one has to navigate the particular areas of which the text offers? Thanks for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Kevin Dufresne.